Hello? Hello? Is anybody there? Oh, hi there. Um, my name's Kenneth. Um, this is going to be my first video. I did record about like a 40-minute long monologue, and then it turned out that the video wasn't going or something like that. It might have been too long. I don't know. I guess this is the world just trying to tell me, screw you or whatever. We don't want your content on the internet, but we are going to try this again. And maybe now I'll have a better idea of like what I want to say, I guess. Because I said it for 40 minutes the first time. So anyway, hello my dear Fruit Loops. That's the name that I decided to give to my audience, which, one person will get. Yeah, I guess where to begin. Right, introductions. I have to introduce myself again. My name's Kenneth. I'm going to be doing a PhD. Recently moved from Madison to Pittsburgh to begin that PhD. I've never really been great at introducing myself or whatever. But now you know like a couple things about me. Oh yeah, I also have a blog. I've been writing that for a while, and that's kind of going to be the subject of like this first video is me kind of ranting a little bit. Well, no, not ranting. Discussing. I don't know. Ranting makes it sound like I'm going to be complaining about the whole time, which I probably will be complaining about some things, but I'll try not to be I'll try to be more constructive than like negative. So I can promise that. Anyway though, so this is going to be my first YouTube video, and I'm going to be doing it about content creation, so that's so meta. But I've been doing blogging for almost 2 years now. I think like November 2023 was like my first post on Substack, and now we're here, a couple months out will be the 2-year anniversary of that. And so yeah, I've just been thinking about that and thinking about some of the things that I've been like struggling with, I guess, when it comes to I guess being a content creator. I don't know, it's weird to call yourself that, I guess, when you're just writing, because it feels like the connotation is like videos like this. Like now I would be a content creator, but I guess it's content, so I'm gonna say, I guess an author of a book is like a content creator, technically, but whatever. I guess, where to start with that? I guess I have every creator's insecurity or whatever, and just general insecurity about is what I'm making good, and very closely related to that in the brain, even if it's not necessarily in real life, of is what I'm making popular or going to be popular, and that also relating to my own worth as a person, because fortunately I don't anticipate it ever being my main or sole stream of revenue or meaning or whatnot, whatever. And so it'll always be something that, could be left to I don't know, go away, if it's not really useful anymore, or if I ever decide that I want to step away from it. I'm not really dependent on it, at least not right now. And probably not for the foreseeable future. But even so, I guess there's still some just psychological things that have been, things that have been challenging, let's say, of just I put out a lot of work out there, I guess, and what does a lot mean? Definitely over 50,000 words at this point, of just writing about things that I really care about, thinking very deeply about them, reading articles and books and stuff like that, or kind of talking about very deep parts of myself. And it's to give so much of that out there, and have those kind of in some corner of the brain, I guess, have like those aspirations of like, I want to be, I want to be the very best. No one ever was. Like, I don't know, really being acknowledged, like someone who like, people would like kind of be like, oh wow, like you do, oh wow, like I saw your blog, and that's, I mean, I guess people have done that to me. Okay, but you know what I mean? Like, have like 1,000 likes or like subscribers or whatever, 100, like, because like right now I'm not even at 50, and I actually have more articles than I have subscribers, which is pretty impressive, I think. But also like, like maybe you should try something else. Is like kind of like the first thought that comes to mind, like, when it comes to that sometimes. And it's like, there's just, it requires some careful thinking, because like I think you can go in a lot of wrong directions, like when it comes to like this sort of thing. I guess like, maybe like what sets it off is like, the thief of all joy, which is comparison. I mean, there's actually a lot of other thieves of joy, but that's the saying. Comparing myself to other people, people who've started off like later, and who are formidable people in their own right, of course. But it just like sometimes, like if you've ever seen like in Avatar: The Last Airbender, like that scene where like, Katara and Aang are learning like waterbending from the scroll, and it's like Katara's like whole thing, like up to that, well, not whole thing, but like a big thing, like, that a thing that started from the beginning was like that, she wanted to prove herself as a waterbender and like learn waterbending and all that. It was very important to her, and she was, worked like to learn, like teach herself, and like she was trying to learn from the scroll. And then all of a sudden this like bald-headed kid just like comes up and just like totally like passes her by, just like, effortlessly, oh, I can do the water whip or whatever. And like, meanwhile she's just like, what the fuck, we might believe that. Anyway, what the fuck is going on, why is it not working for me? I've put in so much effort into this, I've been doing this for so long, and then this person comes in and it feels like, it didn't really take as much for them. Maybe they only had to put out like one article, maybe they had to put out a couple, and then it just makes you think of all these things of like, does that mean like that what I've been doing, like, do I suck? Like, that's one direction to take it. There's another direction of like, like people are just hateful. I don't know, like it's just, it doesn't feel good. And it's also like kind of like, to me, like there's definitely an aspect of it of like, I don't want to feel that way. Like not only does it not feel good, but like especially if I'm like, the closer I am to the person, the more I'm like, well, this is a person, and like I do care about them, and I do want them to be successful. Why am I feeling these negative feelings? Like I don't want to be feeling these negative feelings when I see their success. And that just, kind of adds another layer to that, because, I know like that I don't want to be feeling that way. And, like whatever, like, envy, jealousy and stuff, like just not wanting to, not wanting to be that character, I guess, in the story, trying to break out of that role. And anyway, I guess so that comes down to YouTube, and like that so I kind of got inspired to make this channel, or like, to start making videos on this channel, because a friend of mine, Isaac, whose channel is Blake Earth, he's a really cool guy, some cool videos, and we were friends in Madison, and all that. He encouraged me to like kind of try my hand at like YouTube and stuff, and so here we are. And I asked him for some advice, and he like pointed me to this video by Lena Norms, and he'd also kind of sent a couple of her other videos to me, and they were all really great. And this one was like no exception to that. Like, it was also great, and it was about like, I guess like tips for like beginner YouTubers or whatever. And I don't know, like it was like the funny thing is like it was like harsh truths about like, about, being a content creator or whatever, lessons I learned or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it was definitely a lot of truths and a lot of things I needed to hear, but I didn't feel at all that was like harsh or like demeaning or in any way. Maybe it was like, being forward, I guess, like honest and stuff, but yeah, not like, it was certainly not, I didn't feel like there was any negativity in it. But anyway, I just thought it was like, yeah, a really great video that really spoke to things that I had been kind of thinking about, of like even just something like, don't focus everything on the numbers. Like, that's not really, don't focus on the numbers, focus on the people, was just such a, like, it is a great one liner of like, just, I know this, I know this in my heart, at least somewhere. But like, I just, sometimes you need someone to just tell that to you, someone to like just be like, I see you, like I see where you're coming from, I see what you're thinking about, I've thought about it too, and what's the right thing, to be thinking about for you, like not just for others but also for yourself. And so I think that was just really helpful in that way. And I mean, one of the things that really stuck out to me was the whole thing about see the person, and like see like the community, I guess, like that you're trying to be a part of, to try to help build, to be to facilitate. And I think that was really helpful. I definitely feel like, yeah, despite not really having, in the grand scheme of things, that many subscribers or whatever, not that many likes, like my top number of like likes for a post is 5. And despite not like, having a ton of everything, whatever, but like I have had like people who've come and like interacted, like just been like told me like, I've been reading your blog, I thought like, this was like really thoughtful, well, I don't like making people cry, but like, just like that it moved me, a lot. Like that's definitely been very appreciated. And just, being reminded like that's like the important thing, is that people see that and they come back and they think like, you really did do something there, I guess, more than, being like a number or whatever. So like, to all my friends and people and whoever and acquaintances who've like subscribed and liked things, and I mean more than that, like who've engaged, with my work and stuff really deeply, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Like, it means so much. And I think this is the thing that is hard to understand when you have not, put out like, when you've not put out like that sort of content yourself, I guess, yet. It's hard to understand like how much, and people will say it like, it means like a lot. Like, hate comments can ruin someone's day, a good comment, can make someone's day, a like, a number of likes or like subscribes or whatever. And for some people it really is like, like that's my job. But even for like me, where it's like not at all, like I could just stop anytime, it still means like a lot. Like, even just that simple action. And it like seems so simple and trivial, and maybe it is, like, from like the other side. And like I was on that side, because we all were, like, we all are. But once you've kind of crossed over to the other side of things and kind of felt what it was like to like be like, spend a lot of time just like thinking about something, and then to have that validated, like it means a lot. So I really appreciate like everyone who has done that for me. Yeah, I'm trying to appreciate that more, and like kind of really, because sometimes I think you just, you take something for granted or you don't notice it. And that's, I was like saying to myself, it's like, if your brain is not registering that you're drinking water, you're always going to be thirsty. In the same way, like I'm not registering like that good feedback sometimes. Like I'm just kind of being like, well, yeah, of course they would say that, that's my friend. Like, And like even that tone, you can kind of hear that, like, oh yeah, it's my friend, like, of course they would say that, but no, like, I don't know, I should just take it at face value. That's always what you know that's my philosophy in life, kind of like take it at face value until proven otherwise. Like that will get you very far. So yeah, I just appreciate that. And there's a deep part of myself that appreciates that and is trying to kind of get to the other parts of myself which are really focused on like numbers and subscribers or like whatever, and other sorts of things that are related to that. I guess like one struggle with that is for me as a person, for a long time, the way I kind of got through that was just by not caring at all, not really thinking that I was trying to be serious about something at all. And like that kind of protects you in a way, because you're just like, you're not that serious about it. It's like, yeah, if you're not, I don't care about being good at like, I don't know, paving asphalt. So if I see someone who's really great at that, who's getting, just naturally talented or whatever, I'm like, great, like I love that for them. I support them. I'm not envious of them at all, because like I don't really care. Like it's not what I'm trying to do, like, or whatever. And maybe I just don't believe that I'm that good at it, and it's fine. But like there are other things where it's like, if you really do care, like I would care about, well, like writing or something. I would care about, I care about like singing, I like things like that, like where I care about them, and I really want to be seen as being like, I want people to be like, oh, like you sang like a really good song or whatever. So there's like, basically what I'm trying to say, I guess, is that there's like a kind of a weird thing where it's like, at least for me, once it becomes something you're trying to do seriously, once you've gotten maybe that validation once or twice where someone's been like, oh wow, you like did an amazing job at that, it just becomes something where I'm like, okay, yeah, I am serious, and I also am constantly on the lookout for like that signal of like, oh yeah, like, you're still like doing that, like, you're still like, you are the best at this thing, or whatever. And which is, obviously not realistic, because like, who's the best at, like, the chances that you are the best at anything are so slim. So I'm certainly not going to be the best at anything. So to like kind of stake your ego on that is just, it's not a good bet. It's not a good bet. What I was, I guess, getting at is that I wanted to like really try at this, but also like with like the recognition that, I'm going to see a bunch of people who are just, doing a lot better than I am, on whatever metrics that I might want to use. And so I think like, trying to find a different way of thinking, rather other than the two mindsets of like, one, like being like not caring and also kind of being free from like all that like baggage, and the other mindset being like, yes, finally caring and doing like, realizing your potential or whatever, but also just being so like beholden to like all these things. Like I want to find that one where it's like, I do care, like I do want to do good, I want to take this seriously, I do want to do things that like, are getting more people to kind of see like what I'm doing. I do want to make things that are actually interesting, that are actually cool, that are actually thoughtful, that are actually good. All of those things, like I really do want to be serious about it and do my best to like, do good on whatever metric that it is. And then at the same time that I also don't want to like just be going after like whatever is most trendy. I don't just want to be going after subscribers or likes or whatever, because I know that means doing things like rage baiting or whatever, or like being, all smarmy and like just being like, like, yeah. And I don't know, it's not me. It's not for me. It just doesn't feel great. And I think like that's a really cool mindset to have, and like to have developed and to have shared, like, from someone like Lena, where it's just like, what really matters is not just being the, it's not being the biggest, and it's not just being bigger and whatever. It's also about like, yeah, just people, and just like wanting to make good art, and having like good conversations, and that just feels a lot better. And honestly, probably is better, even if it's not like reaching as many people, because I do kind of believe in that, like, in some ways of like quality over quantity. So yeah, those are roughly my thoughts. So thank you to like Lena for making that video. Thank you to Isaac for sharing that with me, and also thanks to Isaac for like encouraging me to do this, and like very on brand with like his latest video on like it's not going to be perfect but do it anyway. This is not going to be perfect, can tell you that much right now. It could be really bad. Doing it anyway. Already flopped once because spent 40 minutes on it and the video wasn't recording, so really crossing my fingers that it doesn't this time, because I'm not going to be doing a third one. So anyway, thank you so much for sticking around. If you have, if you like the video, please like, share, and subscribe, and comment if you have a comment. And yeah, I really appreciate taking the time to watch this video and all of the stuff you do. And have a great day, and I will see you around. Peace out, my Fruit Loops, and see.
A few moments later.
Oh, I forgot. Got a nice halo here. Apologies. Maybe. I don't know. Anyway, I forgot that I'm going to steal the tradition of having a ending song, I suppose. A song of the video. And for this first video, for today's video, the song is 橄榄树 by Qi Yu. Very beautiful song, and very pertinent to the times. So I will let it play as I fade out. Peace out, my lovely Fruit Loops. See you around.